Hey internet! So today's just basically kind of a quiet organizational day. I've gotten quite a few questions recently about like my university experience and what I did with that. And so I thought I would just do like a casual hang out with me vlog where I just kind of talk about that generally. If you guys have a lot of specific questions, I'd be happy to answer them just in the comments, or maybe I'll do another video or whatever. But for today I'm just going to talk about kind of like my general university experience. Start at the beginning, I guess, and go through it chronologically since I don't have like too many specific questions. I know that you guys are just kind of wondering about it in general, and some of you are looking into law school and just kind of curious about that. So to begin at the beginning, I did like a really hard high school kind of diploma called the IB, and worked really hard with that. And you know, by the end of it, I kind of knew that I didn't want to do any of the specific subjects that I had studied during the program. So I was pretty sure that I wanted to study law, even though I wasn't maybe 100% sure I wanted to be a lawyer at that point. I still had a pretty good idea that that's what I was interested in. That's just kind of like how I am. I think a lot about these things, and I'd gotten like some work experience in a law firm as well by that point. And so yeah, I actually I had a really hard time in high school. I did not have a good time in high school at all. Maybe someday I will make a video about that, about like just kind of dealing with high school and that kind of thing. But at the end of high school, I was just like, get me out of here. Like, I went to a really small high school in a kind of small town, and it was just very insular, and most of the people I knew were either gonna stay home and go to university, or like go to university relatively near to home. And I knew just based on everything that had happened to me that I really did not want to do that. So I applied to a few like Canadian universities, but really I knew that I wanted to like study abroad for my degree basically. And just the way it works right now still is for law school in Canada and the US, there's a really different philosophy about, like, basically just a different educational philosophy about when you should go to law school. So over here in Canada, where I'm currently living again, you do like a 4-year like undergraduate degree, same in the States, and then you go to law school for 3 years after that. Some people will work in between as well, like get some work experience, get some life experience. Whereas in other Commonwealth countries, law is still an undergraduate degree, so you go into it straight after high school if you want to. Like, some people don't, but if you want to, you can, and most universities will offer a 3-year undergraduate law degree. And with that, like, my graduate diploma says like LLB. I know to you guys that aren't interested in this, is probably really boring, but I'll get to more interesting bits soon. So you get an LLB, and that used to be what a law degree was called in North America. So you used to get an LLB in Canada and the US. Now Canada is moving to call it a JD, and the US has pretty much everywhere, I think, moved to call it a JD as well. But at heart, you know, a law degree is a law degree. That's how I see it. That's how most people see it. It's just part of a different educational philosophy about when you go to law school. But at the end of the day, you still go to school and you get a law degree. And most people agree that the difference between a JD and an LLB is it's just a difference of when you do it and not the actual content of the degree. Although, of course, you know, like, law is relatively region specific, so there's, you know, Canadian law and US law and UK law, but they're all part of the same sort of overwhelming philosophy and system that is called common law. I graduated high school. I had a bunch of offers from UK universities. I actually took a gap year to kind of explore all these different places and decide where I wanted to go, because it was really important to me that I actually visit the university that I was committing to before I went there. I'm sure you guys I don't know, kind of understand why. It was a long way for me to go. I'm really close to like my mom, and it was hard to leave, but it was also like I knew it was the right thing for me to do, to kind of explore something different and spread my wings a little bit. Here it is. You have probably never heard of it unless you are from the UK. It's a really well-known university over there, but it doesn't quite have like a huge international reputation, at least amongst most people, quite yet. It's called Durham University. I'll probably like maybe spell it somewhere. I love how like I point everywhere. It's just because I don't know why. I'll put it up so you guys can see it. It's a really old university. It was like founded way back when like Oxford and Cambridge were founded, but it's actually in the north of England. So it's very near to a city called Newcastle, and it's about an hour and a half south of the Scottish border. So you can see it's north. It's pretty cold up there, but it's not horrendous. It's not very different weather from the rest of the UK. And Durham University is in a small town that is unsurprisingly called Durham as well. It's a really cute little tiny town that is sort of medieval with a lot of old buildings, and it's a collegiate system, so it's got, I think, 14 colleges depending on how you count them, because some of them are postgraduate and some of them are undergraduate, but to all intents and purposes there's 14 spread out throughout, but your classes and education is centralized with Durham University itself. I don't know whether I'm giving you guys too much information at this point, but I don't know, I feel like if I were watching this, like I would love to see this from other makeup gurus. I'm all about education. I think you can never have too much education or lip gloss. You guys can put that down as a quote and hold me to it. Just because I think it's so useful in this day and age. So I'm really always very interested to see where people have gone to school or what they're considering, and I don't know, I find all that fascinating. So back to Durham. It's a really small town. It's very cute. It's got some really neat colleges. My particular college was actually in a Norman castle. So it was built somewhere around 1200 or 1300, because I graduated a little over a year ago. Now I'm forgetting my dates, which is really bad. But yeah, so my room in third year was actually in the castle itself. It was in this kind of round tower. Actually, why don't I insert a photo here? My college, and that's where I lived for a whole year, and it was amazing. It was so cool. My best friend and I both decided that we wanted to like live in the tower, and so we did, and it came with all the perks and all the downsides that you would expect of living in a castle. You know, like amenities are kind of, they leave a little to be desired, especially for, you know, a material girl like myself. In terms of like nice bathrooms and showers, it was not great, but it was pretty cool, and I would say it was worth it. In your first year at my college, you actually lived in a separate residence that was outside of the castle, just because the castle was not built like to accommodate as many people as belong to the college, but it was still really neat because that was like a little building that we had all to ourselves as first years. So that's kind of a little bit of like my college experience. College in the UK is like a big part of your university experience. Not all universities are collegiate, but the ones that are, like your social life and your friends and that kind of thing, a lot of them come from your college, and your college will have a lot of social activities and events and social events, and it has a student bar, and you have formals, and they're amazing. You dress up, and it's like twice a week, and you have gowns like in Harry Potter, and I really wish I still had mine. If I knew I was making videos, I would have kept mine, but I actually gave it away. But it's basically like a black robe, and you wear it over like your kind of evening cocktail dress twice a week, and you drink wine at formal, and you sit at long tables, and it looks exactly like the dining hall in Harry Potter. I'm fully not joking or exaggerating, you guys. Like, it is for real. There's just no magic, so you have to do everything yourself, which is kind of a bore, but other than that, yeah, it's crazy. It's really neat for me, especially because in North America everything is so new and shiny and comfortable, and things are really different over there for sure.